This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill. The podcast ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stick with Baconsale, and I show you just how deep the rabbit hole goes.
I'll take the orange pill.
Blue pill. Blue pill.
Blue?
Blue pill.
Zach, stop it. You're on the show.
Orange peel.
Orange peel?
Wait, what are we talking about? What kind of
It's
fruit
not
is this?
school lunch.
Oh. Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Zack.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our Spider-Man villain show.
That was cute.
Adorable. Thanks to Chris Anderson for saying, I love how Joel went from being a negative Nelly in regards to his temp position to excitedly planning the week's activities.
Yeah.
It better
You
be
literally
Taco
filled out
Tuesday.
They got me
entire
on
week.
full time, guys.
Well, did you get the job?
I did.
I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, I got fired.
So I'm going to guilt you into quitting.
Yeah.
Yep. Teddy Swenson said, I laughed pretty hard at the he's going for the kill. Stop bury me segment. Nice work, gentlemen. And KP Brown, who said, now I'm thinking you need a Batman Rogues versus Spider-Man Rogues Royal Rumble. To which Joel replied, that's not a bad bracket idea.
It's not. That's not. If we get a couple more, like maybe Superman villains
Superman
or
villains.
X-Men villains.
Wow.
And then do the quadrants.
It's wait, haven't you guys already done this show?
Kind of.
We did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Yes. But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Zach?
Michael Bay's here, everybody.
No, we already did a show about him.
Oh, yeah.
I think I did the same thing when we talked about action movies too. Dang it. We're talking about action movie scenes.
Ooh. Wait a minute. Didn't we talk about action movies way back when?
Several
It was like
times.
earlier this year.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
action movies. But the scenes are what make them work.
But why are we talking about scenes now?
Well, we have some help on this show. Please welcome our guest, Shannon West.
Shannon West!
Thanks for
Shannon,
having me.
welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listener?
I am Shannon West. I have been listening to Baconsale.
Yeah?
I think from the beginning.
Yeah?
Really?
Ever,
Okay.
Ever. Yeah.
Do you have
I feel like I know you guys.
Sorry about
Well, you
that.
kind of do a little bit.
Do you have
Fine.
like a favorite type of episode or favorite episodes that come to mind of Baconsale?
You know, I really enjoy the D&D style ones where you
the playing the games
those
ones?
are really strange
Choose your
and
own
complex.
the choose your own adventure
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of ones. Those are pretty entertaining.
Okay. Hey, Zach.
Yeah, I heard.
They're probably the hardest
Remember that
to
time that me
do.
and my wife won the Hunger Games? It was a good time.
Oh, man.
That was so good. That was so good.
I'm so mad about it.
Oh, we had fun with that.
was so
But
good.
Shannon, you were here because you said this on our Pacon bit. Our for patrons got to hear this about you. That you are not big into romance movies.
No.
That is not your forte. You do not fall into that stereotype.
No, I'm not a chick flick
You're just the coolest.
watcher.
But you like action movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Like you've always liked action movies?
Yeah, action, adventure. I like disaster movies.
Cool.
I think it's anything that will literally take me out of reality.
Okay. No, and that's what
You
movies
know.
are. They're escape
and,
films,
Fantasy,
and
right?
romance is
yeah.
your reality. So therefore, it's like this is my life.
Right.
Every week, I go to the country and meet a guy that
Yeah.
sweeps me off my feet, and I never want to go back to the big city.
Right.
Yeah. But before we get too deep, Shannon, as our guest, we have some questions for
Okay.
you.
I'm nervous.
These are questions that we ask all the guests to come on here on Baconsale. We want you to answer them as quickly as possible. So even if you don't have a strong opinion, just throw an answer out, and one of us is going to be happy, and one of us is going to be slightly perturbed, but
Okay.
still forgive you.
Okay.
That's me.
Are you ready, Shannon?
I think so.
All right, let's begin then.
Okay.
Which is better, Karate Kid or Karate Kid 2?
Karate Kid.
Yes, it is. Which is worse, Star Wars Episode 1 or Star Wars Episode 2?
2?
Yes, it is. So far, so good.
Perturbed.
Do you rate movies using stars or letter grades?
Probably stars.
Okay. So good so far.
Shannon.
Which is the more America movie, Rocky 4 or Independence Day?
Independence Day.
What? if she goes with your Christmas rose.
Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
Halloween.
There we go.
All the way.
We're doing
Yes.
so good. Buffy or X-Files?
I haven't seen either one.
I haven't seen
I'm-
either.
Just go ahead and pick one.
maybe
the right one.
maybe X-Files?
Yes, that's the right one.
I don't know.
Lord of the Rings?
I don't know.
Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Okay. I love them both, but Lord of the Rings has an edge.
Yeah.
Which
It's-
movie is more Christmassy? Die Hard or Lethal Weapon?
Die Hard.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
People just don't know. Phantom of the Opera or Les Miserables?
Oh, Phantom. No, don't send me to Les Mis.
Why not?
Romance.
I saw it in New York and fell asleep. Oh my God.
You like action movies.
Sitting in Broadway. I was like, I'm on Broadway. I'm going to Les Mis. Oh my gosh. That was the longest 2 or 3 hours of my life.
Labyrinth or Never-Ending Story?
Probably Never Ending Story.
Okay. And How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or 10 Things I Hate About You?
How to Lose a Guy.
Yes. That's primarily a Joel win, I think.
It really
on those.
is. Welcome to the show, Shannon.
Sorry.
But now that our guests get a little feel for your personality as we do as well, let's jump into things, shall we?
Our first category we're going through is best line or dialogue during an action scene. Joel, will you please get us started?
So these are the one-liners that we know from like Schwarzenegger movies or Bond films, for
Or
example.
dialogue.
Yes, could be dialogue because that's
mine
what you chose.
is dialogue.
Okay.
In fact, I will just read some dialogue to you right now. You're using Bonetti's defense against me, eh? I thought it fitting, considering the rocky terrain. Naturally, but you must expect me to attack with Capaferro. Naturally, but I find that Tybalt can't cancel out Capaferro, don't you? Unless you want me to study the Agrippa, which I have. Da-da-da. This is from Princess Bride.
All right.
The sword fight between the Man in Black and Inigo Montoya is one of those that, like, the first time I saw it, I'm like, this is unlike any action movie I've seen before. These guys aren't just grunting and fighting. They're having like a full-on conversation as they're fighting, and it's this wonderful dialogue between the two of them. Now, Princess Bride, if you don't know, a bedridden boy's grandfather reads him the story of a farm boy turned pirate who encounters numerous obstacles, enemies, and allies in his quest to be reunited with his true love. And it's directed by Rob Reiner, who did Misery and A Few Good Men. This is Spinal Tap.
Crazy.
Starring Cary Elwes. I never say his last name right.
It's probably that.
Robin Wright, Manny Patinkin. I love this dialogue, even before I even knew what they were saying. And it actually wasn't until I read the book that I realized they were talking about different fencing techniques. Like they're having this whole conversation of, oh, you're using this defense? I'm trying this defense. Hey, I learned about that. And then, of course, you have the great line when he's like, I admit it, you are better than I am. Then why are you smiling? Because I know something you don't know. And what is that? I am not left-handed. And just that little thing right there. I know Kent hates it because it's probably been quoted so many times to him.
A few times.
But this, they both learned, Cary Elwes, and Manny Patinkin. They both learned how to fence, both left-handed and right-handed for the film. And they did all the stunts except for like the somersaults themselves. And they were trained by the guys who did the Star Wars trilogy. And I just think it's a fantastic sword fight, even without the dialogue. And dialogue elevates it to the next level.
Yeah.
I could have picked the fight with Fezzik.
Sure.
The Giant, or the one with Vincini as well, with the whole battle of wits. There's great dialogue throughout, but I think this action scene the action is better.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because I was thinking just the one-liners.
Which there are some
all
great
the clever
one-liners in
things
there.
that we've talked about previously.
Yeah.
And in great action movies. So the movie I went with, I just want to paint the picture for you guys. Our hero, his back is against the wall, and he's pretty wounded, severely wounded.
Is this Winnie the Pooh?
It is Winnie the Pooh in the death match.
Yep.
There's a sword fight happening one slash hits his shoulder. One hits his upper chest.
Oh, are you kidding me?
And then he whispers, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And once he says it, all of a sudden, ting, ting, he gets his strength. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And every time he says it, he gets stronger and stronger, and he overpowers the six-fingered man.
Yeah.
And I love this scene. It's very short, but the music plays along with the sword slashes.
Now, here's the thing.
Sure.
First of all, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I had a hard time picking which
Of course,
action
of
scene from
course.
Mr. Breaks. There's so many good dialogue in there. But it's just funny to me that we were so concerned about matching on other things that we didn't.
No, I have a major honorable mention, but for some reason I'm like, I'm going to go outside the box. And of course you did the same thing.
Yeah, because we didn't coordinate. We may match on some answers, but that just shows that's good dialogue.
It really is. All right, Shannon, what do you have?
Nice. Okay. So mine is from the movie Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
I'm listening.
The bit,
Zach's back in.
so much fun. So this is the big car chase at the end, and the big wrecking ball comes and hits the cop car and pushes him through the wall.
Yeah.
This is a Timothy Oliphant line.
And so the cop the cop runs up and opens the door, and this is exactly what he says. He says, "How are you doing? Are you all right? Are you okay? Just sit back. Are you all right? Are you sure? Because you just went through a wall."
Went through a wall.
Wait, that's the best one.
That line sticks in my head all the time. It's so random and just so you just went through a wall. Like it's so funny to me. It just hits me funny every
So
time.
Timothy Oliphant is the one that says that. He's the one that says you just went through a wall, or he's the one in the car.
He's the one who's talking to the guy.
Yeah, the one in the car is, I think, just a random extra driving a cop car, that just got sent through all. But it's so funny to me.
Sometimes action movies are able to do that, where they hit you with that unexpected line where you're like, that's funny.
Yeah. Just random. I don't know.
Pointing that out is a good point, I think. You just went through a wall. Are you okay?
Are you sure? Because you just went through a wall. It's so funny to me.
I love it.
Zach, what do you have?
I'll just say my line. What about the RUSs? Rodents on visual signs? I don't think they exist.
You guys all.
We set this up as a cheesy one-liner thing. I thought I was going different with dialogue.
Literally, we did not do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
I don't know. I didn't even know what that is.
No, whoa, yippee-ki-yay? Die Hard?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good one.
That's not the line that people say.
They say yippee-ki-yay.
They just say yippee-ki-yay.
That's all it says on the TV edit.
Mother family.
Mother.
Actually, truthfully, my answer is I am not left-handed. Like that's the best one.
Yeah.
But I had to throw in another because there's so many good
But
ones.
I absolutely love it too how like Wesley does it too, where he's like, something I have to tell you what. I'm not left-handed either.
Not offended either.
Such a great line.
We are dorks.
Yes.
We are Utah
Shannon,
dorks.
You're cool. But specifically, not only do I love that line, but I love that fight.
Yeah.
This is actually was in contention for my absolute favorite fight. And I just had to put this here because I love that moment so much.
Yeah.
But that is what I love about this fight. The battle of wits, the interplay, that should not take away from the brilliance that is this actual fight. Mm-hmm. These actors just put it all out there. They do this work.
What's Wesley's name? What's the actor's name?
The man in black.
Cary Elwes and Mandy Patinkin.
That's it.
This fight being choreographed by Peter Diamond and Bob Anderson. Bob Anderson specifically is just like the best. But you mentioned, Joel, like they did Star Wars as well, which will come up again. But they really just sell this fight. It is one of the most engaging fights, not only because of
we should clarify. Zach picked Princess Bride. If you haven't picked up on that yet, yeah.
Because of the combination of wow, this is really cool to look at, but then this is fun.
Yeah.
These actors are having fun with it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say enough wonderful things about this specific sword fight. However, I did mention the RUS's part, which to me is just hilarious.
Yeah.
I love Wesley going through the what is it called?
This
Swamps of Sadness.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, is it Swamp? No, it's never ending story. But Fire Swamp. When he's like, I'm not saying I like to build a summer home here, but the trees are actually quite lovely. I love this.
There's a lot of good ones.
I love the lines in this movie.
This is why I love having a guest on the show, because it just shows we have some similar tastes.
You guys are all in sync, and I'm over
Three Princess
here.
Bride.
You're the
and then
coolest.
6 seconds.
For sure.
I should have. Oh man, I thought I was being different. I'm
right.
sorry.
Our next category is the best one-on-one action scene. And there are lots.
Is so tough.
So many you could go with.
So hold on. Oh, let me get my hipster glasses real quick.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Because the best one-on-one action scene, hands down, is from a movie called The Raid 2.
I knew you'd pick The Raid at some point.
Okay, then I'm picking it early.
And I'm happy you did.
He's watching anime. He's watching The Raid.
Yes,
The
Raid is so good.
The Raid,
Season 1.
The Raid and The Raid 2 are so good. So The Raid 2 is from 2014. And Joel, for you, the synopsis is, only a short time after the first raid, that's the first movie, Rama, that's the character's name, goes undercover with the thugs of Jakarta and plans to bring down the syndicate and uncover the corruption within his police force.
Why are you telling me this? I know what The Raid is.
You've seen The Raid 2?
I haven't seen it. I know The Raid.
Yeah, you know The Raid.
But talk to the listener, not to
need
me.
to see it. I just know
Don't you condescend to me.
Shannon, he loves synopses.
Okay.
I do.
Yes,
I do.
Yes.
So here's the thing. This main character has been through a nightmare. If you've seen the first movie, it's nonstop action. The second one quadruples it. And it's insane. It's almost like a superhero movie, but it's just martial arts. And the martial arts used, it's the Indonesian fighting style. By the way, this is a Thai movie, Indonesian fighting style of pencat silat. And so basically, Rama, the main character, comes into a kitchen. He's already infiltrated the building. And then he meets a guy that's a little bit older than him. And he just smiles at him, this older guy, and he knows he has the upper hand. And they just kind of square up. And it's this really slow-moving start. And then they just start trading blows. And the older guy is smiling the entire time. And it becomes one of the most violent and brilliantly executed choreography. It's about 7 minutes long, and it is masterful. It is nonstop goodness. If you haven't seen The Raid 2, go see it.
Should I see The Raid 1 before I see Raid 2?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
I mean, story-wise, it's fighting, but you should still see it.
Okay.
All right, Shannon?
All right. Okay, so my one-on-one favorite is from The Matrix.
Ooh,
so it's at the very end of The Matrix when they're down in the subway.
Oh, yeah.
Right at that moment when Neo realizes that he's the one, and you see him stand up, and he just gets that look on his face, and he turns to Mr. Smith. Is that his name?
Yep.
Yes.
And he's
Agent Smith.
Agent Smith, yeah. And then they just start going at it, and it's just like that's the first time you see like the true.
It's so cool because it's like
Matrix
a Western
action,
shootout when
Yes.
they see each other.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
it's so good.
it's if you don't know The Matrix, you should really watch it. It's just basically we're all in a computer simulation, and we're batteries running this computer, and then he realizes that he can overcome the simulation and manipulate it how he wants, and that is a very cool moment.
Right.
I thought though when you said the best one-on-one, you were going to mention the training sequence because that's another amazing fight.
That one's cool
yeah.
too. But
when he
actually,
starts realizing his potential.
my other one, my honorable mention, was actually Neo and Agent Smith as well, but it's 500,000 Agent Smiths. It's when when they keep
That's
multiplying.
Matrix Revolutions.
That's kind of still one
that's
on one, but it's like
1-on-1,
5,000, but it's the same guy.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But that's,
Yeah.
It's so good.
yeah.
Ken,
you're right
Ken
on.
and I did mention to each other the little before we recorded that
I was like, I try not to pick the Matrix for
I don't
every
want the
single
Matrix
one
for
of
every single one of categories.
I know, right?
these. So you're dead on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The Matrix was a revolutionary movie in the world of action. I picked another revolutionary movie in the world of action. 2000's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
There
A
we go.
young Chinese warrior steals a sword from the famed swordsman and then escapes into a world of romantic adventure with a mysterious man in the frontier of the nation. The fight I am talking about specifically, though, is the sword fight, where you've got what's-her-face who has the sword.
Cary
Can't remember her name.
Elwes.
You've got the...
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
No, you've got the other one, the younger gal.
Oh, the one from
She's
Rush
got-
Hour 2.
Yeah, she's got the 400-year-old sword. What is her name? And then Michelle Yeoh has an entire wall of every possible weapon, and she uses all of them. And
Zhang Zi.
there you go. I wasn't even going to try.
Yep.
But Michelle Yeoh is using all of these weapons, right? It starts, we're using everything from, swords to spears to hooks to all of these various things. And this ancient sword is just hacking through all of them. But there's so many creative shots. And this one, this fight is a little lower on the wire work that is seen elsewhere.
Which is good.
It is. I mean, the scene in the trees.
That's a lot of fun.
That could have come up in a later category for me, but again, I wanted to put this movie here. There is specifically a shot from overhead. You're looking down, and you can just see that. Yes, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has all of these fantastical things that a person couldn't really do.
Yeah.
However, when you see that overhead shot obviously it's stunt people, right? They're literally doing the choreography, right? They're working with these weapons. They are having all these close calls with the spears and whatnot, and it is just fascinating to see the different styles at work. And I think this movie's so cool, but this fight scene is one of the best.
You're right.
It's very entertaining.
Joel?
What defines a one-on-one fight?
One-on-one.
Meaning one person
Fighting one person.
regardless of their surroundings, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm definitely going to go with my choice then. Parkour!
What?
I'm doing the opening scene from Casino Royale.
Casino Royale? Oh.
I was like, The Office?
Parkour! No, they're at the beginning.
Hey, Joel, I don't have a single James Bond movie on this list, so thank you.
What? I actually was
Not
worried you were
even a
going to pick.
one-liner.
No.
Oh man, there's so many good
Shocking.
James Bond. I actually
Positively
thought-
shocking.
I
Could have
thought
made it all.
You,
Yeah.
I thought you might have picked the train battle in From Russia with Love because
No.
that is an amazing fight scene. But I think there might be two guys involved. in
That
that
was
one.
on here. We'll talk about it if we do a sequel to this show.
But Casino Royale, it's the James Bond reboot with Daniel Craig, and at the very beginning, you get a feel of what kind of James Bond he is, what kind of spy he is, because there's this guy he's chasing after, and they continuously grab each other, fight for a bit, and then run away from each other. And the guy, the character, the villain is Malacca. He is like really good at parkour. Like he'll run up a building with just his hands and feet, or he'll jump through this little tiny opening. But then James Bond will just boom right through the drywall and fight and get after him. And so James Bond is not as polished as Malacca, but it is so fun to see them just kind of continually chase each other. And that's the thing, is there's maybe not as much fighting one-on-one as there's chasing one-on-one, but then they get to the scene on the crane. They're really high up in the air, and they're battling back and forth. And the whole time my palms are sweating because I'm like, they're going to fall off this crane.
Yeah.
And then they have to jump from one to the other.
Mom's
and,
goody.
and it's so and it's so terrifying to me, that part. But one of my favorite moments, I just want to bring this up because this is a fun fight anyway, but there's the part when Malacca's gun runs out of ammo and he throws it at James Bond. James Bond catches it, throws it back at Malacca, and hits Malacca in the face.
Yeah.
And I just crack up every time. But this took several weeks to film. It is an excellent opening to, I think, any action movie. Like, it's an action sequence that must be seen because it's so much fun. And it ends in a gunfight with a lot of other people, but the one-on-one is wanted to focus on
It's
here.
so fun.
So there you go. Casino Royale. Da-na-da-na-na-na.
I didn't want to talk about honorable mentions, but the train fight in From Russia with Love is an honorable mention.
Save it.
So
Yeah,
good.
we may do a sequel. We can't do honorable mentions. Well,
so good.
Shannon, you're
I
welcome
already
to.
did,
You're a
sorry.
guest. You perfectly can. You're our guest. You're welcome to do so.
Next, we have best large scale battle scene.
Large scale meaning like this is the opposite of one-on-one.
Yeah.
This is the everyone fighting everyone.
A lot of
situation.
people, war,
Yeah.
armies.
What is it good for?
All sorts of choices. Shannon, what do you got?
Okay, so my very favorite is from the Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
Two Towers. So
Oh.
it's the
Yep.
Battle of
What?
Helm's
We've never
Deep.
talked about this before.
What?
So
Helm's
the
Deep.
entire thing, like starting from the total despair when they're sitting there and they're like, "Oh no, there's no way we're gonna win," and King Theoden whining again because that's all he does is he whines.
He eats tomatoes.
No, that's the wrong
No,
one.
no,
not
Theoden.
That's the
Theoden.
steward of
Theoden.
Gondor.
I'm sorry.
He does his
I'm
little-
sorry. That was a faux
no,
pas.
We
no, no.
like
Penalty box for
Theoden.
Joel.
Right? No.
I was in a different world.
No, he does all of his little, woe is me monologues like
Yeah.
all the time. So he's doing that, and then the elves show up. So from the minute the elves walk up and they're like snapping, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so welcome." From then on, the drama, the comedy, the like from was it when Legolas and Gimli are standing there and Gimli's jumping up and down and
Oh, yeah.
Legolas is like, "Do you want me to describe it to you, or would you like me to get you a box?" Like just
Yeah.
funny little
It's crazy because
comedy.
Great dialogue.
there's hope, despair, and humor
Yeah.
all in this 40-minute scene.
Yeah.
And a Chariots with Fire scene.
That's true.
With the orc running with the
orc
torch.
running with
Yeah.
Every time that happens, I just want to go dun 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 dun.
Right.
What's crazy is 75% of that was shot at night, which most movies they shoot during the day and then just make it dark. And the rain was real, or they just did fake rain and poured water on everyone.
That's
like it's
impressive.
just like it was bad conditions, and it took like 4 months to film. It was
Did
nuts.
it really?
Yeah.
Wow. I
Ken,
should
why
know
do
that.
you know so much about this?
I'm not choosing it now on purpose.
But that was.
It was my choice.
That
but
was your
yeah,
sorry.
I'm not
Joel,
going
what
to
did-
do it.
Joel,
No, it's
did you
a
pick it?
wonderful choice.
I didn't pick it.
You didn't pick it?
I didn't pick it because I knew Kat was going
I
to.
did, but I have a backup.
I knew it would be picked.
Yeah.
For the record, that's the right choice.
It is the right choice.
I think we
Okay,
all
good.
would have picked that.
We all know.
We would have pulled a Princess Bride if we wouldn't have to like anticipate others'
Okay,
choices.
sorry.
So Zach, what do you have?
Let it be known that we did pick that one. However, I am going to move to a movie that I thought would be terrible, and I ended up loving largely because of this scene. It came out in 2006. It is 300. King Leonidas of Sparta and a forest of 300
check
men.
Ken's alternate?
fight the
That's my
Persians.
alternate.
Oh no.
Directed by Zack Snyder. Okay.
We dine in the shade.
Yes.
So good.
Dining in the shade.
So
The
stylized.
Hot Gates battle, right? The big, like the first really big fight that we see.
Yeah.
I remember I saw a trailer for 300 and I specifically said aloud in the theater, that movie's going to be terrible. And this is the scene that absolutely won me over. There's so many, it's just the sheer, I don't know, manliness of all of the airbrushed abs.
Yep.
I thought the fight choreography was fantastic.
Yeah.
The large scale battle. But then there's that shot, the shot. It's the side profile
Yeah.
tracking shot where the camera punches in, then it's slow-mo, then it pulls back out and it's kind of fast and it punches back in.
We call
That
it
is
Snydering.
Love Snyder.
Zack Snyder, and I don't even understand. He is unmatched in his ability to do action slow motion. I don't understand how it's so good, but it really kind of started here for me in seeing this. This whole movie has a lot of great action, but the Hot Gates battle scene, I just was taken by it. I mean, I was like 17 when I saw it.
Oh, perfect time to
So
see it.
I was all about it.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It
Love
is one of those action scenes that sticks with you. I almost picked that.
So Joel, what do you have? It's not those two.
Well, I mean, yours was large, being on the ground with an army.
So many disclaimers to
yeah.
your books.
There's yours was large, also another army on the ground. But what if you have an army on the ground, an army in a ship, and an army in space?
Oh,
That's right. I'm
Return of the
talking
Jedi.
about Return of the Jedi, the Battle of Endor. Because this is like, there's a large-scale battle taking place in 3 different places. Now, granted, the large-scale battle in the Death Star is a little bit more emotional, large-scale emotions. But you have Endor, where you have Han Solo and Princess Leia, and the Ewoks all fighting the Stormtroopers. And that's one of those battles that looks like it's not going to go well because they're seriously outgunned and out-armored. And then you get the space battle where they're going in. They're supposed to blow up the Death Star. They're trying to get the shields down first.
Yeah.
And then they find out that the Death Star is quite operational. It's a fully armed battle station. And then it's a trap, and they start getting all blown up. And it is one of those. It's the last 40 minutes of the film, and it is riveting the entire time.
It really
because
is.
As they cut from, here's the battle here. Ewoks are dying. This is sad.
Right.
Here's the battle up in space. They are so outmatched. The Death Star is going to tear them apart. And then you get inside the Death Star. You get Luke fighting his father.
So good.
Epic music playing.
Mental battle going on.
It is so good.
Yeah,
and so
you're right.
when I went large scale, I actually did pick Helm's Deep initially. And I was like, everyone's going to pick that. So I went bigger. Even larger scale, because I went in space, Kent. Space!
Pretty
Space!
The
All right,
final
then.
frontier?
Then I'm going to go with like another alternate, I guess, just because I feel like I need to be different, but I'll be quick. It's from Gladiator. It's the opening battle scene. And this is when the Roman army takes on the Germanic barbarians in the Battle of Vindobona. And basically, this one you have...
Battle of Vindobona? Wasn't he like a television producer for America's Funniest Home Videos?
Actually, yes. But Maximus Decimus Meridius grabs some dirt at the beginning of it, mixes it in his fingers, and then the battle starts. And the music is booming at this part. And the way they basically take the battle choreography that Braveheart kind of gave us and make it a little bit cooler and a little more stylized. And it's only, a 10-minute battle, but it is so cool looking. It really introduced that movie in a big way. So because you guys chose my other ones, Gladiator.
I thought for sure someone was going to pick Braveheart.
Nobody picked Saving Private Ryan. Normandy.
We can't do honorable mentions.
Just saying, we messed up. Okay, that's cool. Now we have our favorite animated action scene.
Zach, you're starting us off.
All right. I am going to start with a movie that I don't like that much, but I like this scene a lot. And this is Incredibles 2. Hey, don't you give me that. Okay. The Incredible
pick
Family.
one?
The Incredible Family takes on a new mission which involves a change in family roles. Bob has to do math. Okay. So, I don't know.
The Incredibles 2, Bob has to
It
do
goes
math.
on.
Math? He has to do math.
His math. New math.
Math. Not
Math.
Not even once.
No, math.
Okay.
Not the blue stuff from Breaking Bad. No.
I'd watch that movie.
Specifically, though, I am going to, I'm calling out the Elastigirl train rescue scene. Okay. I am a huge Elastigirl stan. Okay. Well, like,
Thank you, internet and Tumblr.
well before any of that, but give me thick thighs and pretty eyes. Thank you.
You killed Joel.
Wow. Yes.
Phrases I never thought would be said on
Yes.
Baconsale.
Yeah, for sure. No, but this scene is so great because it does get to feature. Now, I think the Incredibles movie is the first movie is so great when they all get to work together.
Yeah.
But come on, like the scene of Elastigirl with the motorcycle that breaks in half, saving the train, is just so cool.
It's a fun scene. Yeah, it's a fun scene.
Well, set up. I guess well directed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's beautifully animated.
Yeah.
That is one thing that I unfortunately feel about The Incredibles. Like, that movie is in desperate need of a remaster. As cool as it is, it's starting to look old.
Sure.
And this
Yeah.
movie, obviously, because it came out in 2018, like, it looks fantastic. It's a very cool scene and just showcasing Elastigirl's powers, because the Incredibles movie have done Fantastic Four better than Fantastic Four ever has.
That's true.
Right? What's his name? Reed Richards. Mr.
Ian-
Fantastic.
Wow.
He's like never good in any movies, and this is like a fully realized version
Michael
of what
Chiklis would like a
what he-
word.
Michael Chiklis?
It's actually Michael.
Isn't it Rooster from Top Gun? I don't know. Anyway, Elastigirl is the best. There we go.
Yeah.
Joe?
Oh, man. Zach, I was hesitant to pick Incredibles because it was the scene, the jungle scene was the one I was thinking of when they're
Yes.
when Dash runs across the water and everything.
Yeah.
I love that whole thing.
We're just fighting the Omnidroid at the end. It's great.
Yeah. But I went a little more goofy on this one because I went to kind of like, when I saw a favorite animated action scene, I went to my childhood. I went, what was the action scene I loved as a kid that was an animated movie? And I have 3 words to say to you. Kill the Beast.
Oh,
Whoa.
Because in Beauty and the Beast, when the villagers are in Gaston's rousing them up and doing kill the beast, and they bang through the castle door and it's all quiet, and they walk through and they're like, there's silence, emptiness, nothing in here, and all of a sudden Lumiere yells, now, and the furniture just starts attacking.
hilarious.
There's a guy that gets his teeth knocked out by 2 dressers, a chest eats a guy and then licks his lips and burps. Yeah, beer steins throwing tomatoes. Mrs. Potts is pouring boiling hot tea on the invaders and then laughing about it with her kids. And then the wardrobe jumps on top of someone and crushes them, pulls another guy in, dresses him up as a woman. They scream and run off. And then Cogsworth slides down the stairs with a pistol and scissors and stabs LeFou in the rear. And then he also Lumiere ends up doing a flamethrower and saving the feather duster. It's just one of those scenes that I just get a kick out of every
it's
time
great.
I see it. And so I wanted to pick that one as kind of a childhood favorite of 1991's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I love that scene.
Yeah, I didn't think about Incredibles until he started
Yeah.
talking about it. I'm like, oh man, the jungle scene. Love it.
So my favorite animated action scene is from The Adventures of Tintin from 2011.
You love this movie.
I
Does that
love
count?
this movie. Yeah, it's actually animated.
mean,
do you not think it's
I
animated?
think Black Panther could count as animated.
Yeah, it really could.
Wow.
But that's not a very good scene. So this one is the gotcha scene. This is about a 3-minute chase, and it is just incredible to watch. So basically, in this scene, the good guys and the bad guys are chasing each other down this seaside port, and they're trying to get a scroll. And there's this falcon that has the scroll.
Scroll?
Yeah, it's
Like a shape-shifting from Marvel?
a scroll. You'll
Like a rolly thing.
like a rolly thing.
Rolly
And so
paper.
this scroll leads to a treasure. So both sides want it. And basically, it is just mayhem. You have Tintin and Captain Haddock, and they're going down in this motorbike, and all of a sudden this tank goes through. This is like an animated version, a more bombastic version of Indiana Jones, is what it feels like. Is a tank starts chasing him down the street. The motorbike splits apart, and basically he just careens down this flooded city in this broken motorbike, hanging off clotheslines, and the dog is getting the scroll at some point, and it is just so amazing to watch. By the way, if you pull up any of these on YouTube, if you don't want to watch the full movies, all of these scenes are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Every one of these is like, just watch them out of context. It's fine.
And it's just fine.
You'll enjoy it.
This one is crazy, though, because I think this movie has still aged very well. It's a different kind
I
of
need to give it
animation
another
style.
chance.
I recall red boxing this and falling asleep to it.
To The Adventures of Tintin?
I should give it another chance.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
I prefer Rin Tin Tin.
I went to the Tintin store in Copenhagen, actually. It was really fun.
I'm so happy.
I actually loved it. But no, this scene is incredible to watch. And it really is like Indiana Jones action done better.
Wow.
All right. Shannon?
Okay, so I had one, and then I had an epiphany last night, and
Wow.
I changed it.
Okay.
But I don't know if my change, I think it counts now because what you said about Black Panther. So I'm thinking of Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
Because that
yeah.
Totally counts.
is like
For sure.
all
That ain't
CGI
live action.
animated, right? So like in the first movie, the final scene where it's the big battle, where the big
Yeah.
flying, everything's flying, and there's
Oh, the blue people. I thought you were talking about the last
no,
Airbender.
the blue people. Like, what is it called? Pandora. It's
Yeah.
called,
Pandora.
But it's Avatar.
Unobtainium.
Oh, it's, actually
Yeah.
called, it's called Spotify.
So the big battle scene
Mm-hmm.
at the end is like my favorite. It's just so much fun to watch,
Yeah.
and everything is animated.
Gorgeously animated.
Couple of humans in there, but for
Sure.
the most
holds
part,
up well.
Yeah.
2009.
yeah. So that's kind of my favorite
Can
animated.
you explain it a little bit to the listener if they
The
haven't
scene?
seen the highest grossing movie of all time?
The highest grossing. Okay, so on Pandora, the planet of Pandora, they the humans have landed trying to mine this unobtainium. That's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Underneath all of their trees that are their trees of life, and so the locals are fighting back, and the locals are these gigantic blue people. They're like 12 feet tall or something.
The Navi.
The Navi, yep. Instead of horses, they ride these flying bird dragon looking things.
Don't ask how.
They
connect their tails.
They connect.
kiss 'em?
Tails
They
to braids.
connect. Yep, they connect, and then they have this symbiotic connection or whatever. So they can tell them where to go, and just by thinking it. But there's also big, huge animals on the ground that look like rhino-y things. I can't remember what they're called. And there's big saber-toothed tiger-looking things.
It's
and-
cool because the money is on the screen, right? You have
Yeah.
mechs versus Navi on these beasts. And it's just so cool to watch.
Yeah.
And the
You
tail
can-
beasts.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
tail beasts.
The flying army of tail beasts.
Right.
Anyways,
and
we're getting into the weeds.
even the humans are in animated machines.
Yeah.
Like almost everything is animated.
Yeah.
But it's computer animated.
Approved.
It's not.
Yeah, it's
you know.
approved.
Absolutely
Okay.
allowed.
What did you
Okay.
have before your epiphany?
I was thinking The Lion King.
That's great.
The ending, the battle
slow-mo-
for Pride
the slow-mo
Rock.
punches
slow-
to the face.
Slow-mo lion punches.
Whenever my cats argue with each other and they fight, I think, Scar, brother. Like from earlier on in the movie.
Right.
But then I also think about the slow-mo thing.
I do wonder why the slow-mo in Lion King, they could have done straight up slow-mo, but they do kind of choppy slow-mo.
It was the style of the time.
Yeah, but every time I see that, I'm like,
It's not great. Okay, but that's a cool scene. Next is best disaster movie scene. This category is a disaster.
yeah, we did have a whole episode about disaster movies a while back. I think we may need to revisit that at some point because there's so many other disaster movies out there.
Yeah.
But for my disaster movie, let me set the scene because I like how Kent did that. Okay? Mm-hmm. We're standing on top of the First Interstate Bank World Center in L.A. Mm-hmm. when a giant alien ship is right above us.
Of course.
And as we're staring up at it and this beautiful blue light is bathing us, we're like, oh, it's beautiful.
Are we holding up signs?
Yeah. Welcome, aliens.
Yay.
And then all of a sudden, the bottom of the ship opens up, a laser beam comes down, and you blow up the First Interstate Bank World Center in LA, the Empire State Building in New York, the White House in DC, and all the surrounding cities. I'm talking about Independence Day. Most America movie.
Second best. Shannon.
This movie came out in
Sorry.
1996, and I have to say, even 1996 wise graphics still holds up.
Yeah, it's good.
You watch this, and it's because they're using a lot of
Miniatures.
and models and real fire. Like they did the thing where they had the city models on vertically. So then they blew up the fire on the bottom, and it travels up through it, and that created that wall of fire
that's
effect.
cool.
But when they made twice as many miniatures for the production that had ever been built for any film before.
Cool.
For this movie, for buildings and city streets and aircraft and landmarks and monuments, and like the ships themselves were like 30 feet in diameter. When they did this, I remember watching this, and this is one of those kind of they learn there's a countdown coming, and so it's like, what's going to happen when the countdown gets to 0? And I remember being in the theaters and being like, what's going to happen? And I obviously knew something bad was going to happen, but I did not expect complete and utter and instant world destruction.
Right.
Where like people are fleeing, cars are getting flipped end over end. You see from where it hits like this big, huge fireball just going out and destroying like miles and miles around it. It is horrifying to watch. And I feel like it's one of those that still to this day just gives me that feeling of like, holy cow, what
Unless
are we
you're a
gonna
dog,
do?
you can get away.
Yes,
fine.
Unless you're a dog and don't understand how fire works, which is
Sure.
it doesn't go in open doors and tunnels. That's how fire works.
Yeah.
But Roland Emmerich, I think, directed this one wonderfully, and it is a horrible. Obviously, it's not a natural disaster, but it's one of those disasters that you think that would be absolutely terrifying.
Terrifying, yeah.
So Independence Day was my choice.
So I'm going to go a little bit more personal. Let me paint the scene. You and your family are at a nice resort.
Oh no!
You're just enjoying the day, and you're just hanging out in the pool, watching the kids. They're having a little bit of fun,
Are
splashing
you in
each
Indonesia?
other. We are.
Oh, no.
And all of a sudden, everything goes quiet. The birds start going. All the birds start going one way. Then you look into the distance, and you can't see the ocean, but you just see trees dropping. Then the wave comes, and this is from The Impossible, which was released in 2012. And it's the story of a tourist family in Thailand. Caught in the destruction and chaotic aftermath of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami.
Shout out to Tom Holland when he still had his mole on his chin.
Yeah, truly. This
He
movie...
has no spider powers in this one.
None.
I almost went with a bigger tsunami. I think there is no better act of destruction in movies that isn't a little too much, a little overwhelming. But I think a tsunami creates cool-looking destruction. But in this movie, it's absolutely heartbreaking and quite literally backbreaking. Because then you feel what it's like to be Naomi Watts' character in the water as you're just getting pelted and sliced and cut up. And your son is 10 feet away and you can't grab onto him. It is harrowing, and you feel what it's like, and you hear what it's like under the water. And I feel like because this feels so real, even though it's a smaller disaster than any other disaster movie, it is the best one.
That was my initial pick, by the way.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. But it broke my. I didn't want to watch the scene again.
I know.
And so
I watched
moved to
it. I was like,
something
I
else.
don't like this.
Because it's a tearjerker. It is.
Oh, when the van goes by and you hear the baby crying, and then the wave comes the other way.
Stop.
All right, Shannon, what do you got?
Oh my gosh.
You love disaster movies, right?
I love disaster
Have you
movies.
seen The Impossible?
But that one I did not watch because of because I hate to cry. I hate to be sad.
There will be happy tears
So-
as well.
Yes.
I promise you.
Yes.
Because I think maybe that's one of the reasons I don't like love stories, because I hate to cry.
Yeah.
I am
You
not
may
a
cry, but there
sappy
is
person.
hope in it.
There
There's
is.
hope in this movie.
I recommend
Okay,
it.
I'll watch it. Because I do like to watch footage of tsunamis, like real footage.
Yeah.
Because there's not a real human interest story then there, Okay, anyways, sorry. Okay, so my movie is a little movie called The Day After Tomorrow.
A little movie.
heard of it.
Also, what's a little
Little
about this
movie.
movie?
Also directed by Roland Emmerich.
Is it? Okay.
It's like one of the bigger movies.
I know, I'm kidding. So my favorite scene is when the kids are traipsing through New York. They don't know what's coming yet.
Just paint the
Okay,
scene for people what the movie's
so
about.
there's what's he called? The climate paleontologist? No, climatologist.
it is a made-up
Anyways,
term, but
he's
yes.
a whatever. He studies the climate.
Yeah.
And he sees that there's this big global climate change happening, and he sees there's a big storm coming, and his son is in high school at the time, and he's on a field trip to New York, and I believe he's in Washington or something. He's across the country somewhere. I don't know where he started at, but Anyway, so he has to get to his son to rescue him because all communication has gone down because all these storms have been hitting. So the whole movie premise is him traipsing across country to get to his son. But in the meantime, his son and all of his high school friends are trapped in New York. And they are I can't even remember, they're all being herded into, I think it's the New York Museum, or no, it's a library, New York City Library. And so they're all on their way into the library when all of a sudden they see behind them this ginormous tsunami, like taller than the skyscrapers, coming at them. And just the race to get into the building with everyone trampling over each other and you have to go back to the car to get somebody's purse. And so the girl, his friend, gets cut. And so he has to go and grab her and rescue her. And getting into the building just in the nick of the time for the wave to hit. And they have to get up to the second floor because it's a gigantic tsunami. And so the water's flying in through the windows and just the drama and it's just so intense, and they're still running. Even in the buildings, they're running away. It's pretty intense, but that's a really cool scene.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Day
really
After
cool.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
And Randy Quaid. Dennis Quaid.
Yep, there we go.
There we go.
I'm like, that didn't sound right.
Dennis Quaid. It was Dennis Quaid in Indonesia, okay?
Zach, what do you have?
And
All right.
he was the king. He was the king of Gondor.
I'm back.
I chose for my disaster movie the greatest Dodge Ram commercial in the history of film.
Yes.
This is 1996 Twister.
I almost picked that.
Bill
I
and
almost
Joe
picked
Harding,
that.
advanced storm chasers on the brink of divorce, must join together to create an advanced weather alert system by putting themselves in the crosshairs of an extremely violent tornadoes. This is a pretty fun disaster flick,
Yeah.
if I might say
A lot
so.
of seriousness here.
Yep.
And the scene I'm picking in particular is the one that is just an inherent quote in my life, which is, I got to go, Julia. We got cows.
Cows.
Because they're flying around.
Yep.
Cows.
Joe,
cows.
cow.
Another cow.
Joking. Another cow. Actually, I think that was the same one.
I think I saw a Halloween costume once where someone just took like cotton and wrapped it around themselves, and then they stuck cows around it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they
that's
were
awesome.
twisted.
Which apparently the story goes, that was just kind of a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Like that was just, they were
Really?
shooting it and it just kind of, was a throwaway deal that while they were, kind of goofing a little bit. And Industrial Light and Magic was like, well, I guess we're going to put a cow in this scene now. They had to figure that out. It became one of, the iconic moments. But this is, like I said, it's a disaster flick, but it is fun in a way. But, I like the scientific element. This actually has Cary Elwes in it as well.
It does, yeah.
As a rival storm chaser. But, again, a very, very fun movie. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
in
like
one of his
standout
goofier
in, like,
roles.
a goofy whatever
This
role.
before he went serious.
Yeah, food. Like
Dante's Peak is a little sad right
much
now. Pierce
fun.
Brosnan, Zach.
What?
Pierce Brosnan.
Wait, I don't know who that is. Is that Remington Steele? Got it. Yeah. Nope. No James Bond on my list.
What is happening?
Yeah, but my favorite disaster movie scene is I gotta go, Julia. We got cows.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioned the sinking of the Titanic. That's fine. All right.
I thought about it.
It was on my list. We can't have honorable mentions.
Now let's do our favorite car chase.
There's one choice. Actually, there's like 900
There's
choices.
one choice for you.
There's
I know,
one choice.
I knew you'd pick this one.
Okay, Zach, what year did my movie come out?
Recently. 2019.
2019?
I don't know.
No,
What
I think it was like 2005, wasn't it?
What?
What'd you
what are you
pick?
guys talking about? My
2003?
chase is from 2003.
Yes.
The Matrix Reloaded.
That's the one.
You like over bloated scenes with bad CGI?
What?
Over
Zach.
brilliant stunt work from Edgar Wright?
Oh, listen, I guess I feel bad I didn't do an Edgar Wright choice.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
No,
no,
it's okay.
I didn't do James Bond. You're good.
Okay, good. So the
going
Matrix
against type on
Reloaded
this one.
chase, this is 15 minutes of non-stop action. And what's cool about it, it's not just a car chase, right? There is action within the car. There is action on this freeway that they built for the movie. I think the cars are just, it's like a GMC commercial, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
But still. And
Yeah, they're
there's
in
some
Cadillacs.
Vis-a-vis.
Thank you,
cetera.
architects.
Yes.
This chase turns into a bullet bike chase at some point when Trinity gets onto the Bugatti as she has the keymaker there
Did
as
we
well.
mention this is the Matrix Reloaded?
Matrix Reloaded,
Yeah.
yes. Listen, the movie is spotty, but at the same time, like this is
the
one
reason
of
to watch the
best-
movie.
Yeah, this is one of the best scenes in the entire trilogy that doesn't exist because there's just one movie. I think there's one movie and then they just shot a car chase.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love this thing. And then there's also like Morpheus having the battle on top of the semi.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this is you have the twins that are pursuing the gang, but then there's also the agents that can turn into anyone.
Hold on. You got to
Yes.
clarify the twins because I'm picturing the girls from The Shining.
It's Mary-Kate and Ashley.
yes.
Double
these
Trouble.
are these are like guys wearing white suits with
They're
dreadlocks
essentially,
and
they're like the ghost twins is
They're
what
like
they
albino.
are. Yeah. And they can
they can phase in and out of
they can phase
cars.
and they don't care about the agents. They're viruses, and so they are chasing Morpheus, Trinity, and the Keymaker. Neo's not really in this scene.
No.
And then you have the agents that they can just become anyone, and they cause so much destruction here, and it's so fun to watch. And there's the scene at the very end, but when Neo comes swooping in
Yes.
to save the day at the very, very end, and Link from within the Matrix goes, yes!
Yeah.
And I screamed.
You feel it.
I said the same thing just watching it on YouTube.
that was the part of the movie that gave me hope.
Yeah.
And then, the architect. So
Yeah, I know. I hear you. So anyways, I love it.
Nice. That is a good scene.
Good choice.
Shannon, what do you have?
Okay, so my favorite car scene or car chase is from Night and Day. It's with Tom Cruise.
great
and,
choice.
Wow.
Yeah, and Cameron
Good
Diaz.
reference.
So when Cameron Diaz gets in the car with the bad agents,
Yeah.
and she thinks she's with good guys, and he is following behind.
It's so fun.
With them on the motorcycle.
Yep.
And so she has no idea what's going on, and this whole time he's shooting at them, killing them all, and she's in there in the back seat, has to reach forward and drive the car, and he's pulling up. June, open the door. He's talking
so
so
calm.
nice
Yeah.
to her, and oh, that's a nice dress. As he's flying over the car and he's landing on the hood, he's like, June, please unlock the door. And she's like, what is going on? And there's bullets flying everywhere, and the whole time his charisma is just freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And she's freaked out, but they go all over the streets, and oh my gosh, it's just such a action car chase that it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
good
fun
one.
to watch and funny.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Wow, good pick.
Thanks.
I haven't thought about the movie in a while. Maybe time for a rewatch.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I liked it better the second time when I watched it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the first time I was like, and the second time I was like,
Yeah, because
Okay,
totally
really?
you didn't know what it was supposed to be,
yeah,
right?
it was a little all over the place.
Yeah.
But then once I knew what it was and watched it again, I'm like, oh, it's funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good show.
Zach, what about you?
Oh, you
How do you
can't
pick?
do this to
How do
me.
you pick, Zach?
No, Joel, you go.
No, Zach, you have to pick favorite car chase.
I can't.
Because he doesn't want to steal yours.
I can't.
He's not going to pick. He's not going to.
I'm not going to pick his. I mean, I could literally pick the entire movie of Fury Road, right?
Well, I'm
Absolutely
sure all of
could.
us could have.
I could. I already mentioned.
No,
I'm not honorable
mentions.
mentioning. I've already mentioned Baby Driver. Right?
Yeah.
That's great.
No, we didn't. No one mentioned Baby Driver. No one
is,
likes it.
What is the category? What is the category?
Favorite car chase?
Favorite?
Not best. Favorite car chase.
Okay, favorite. Then I will go with a movie that nobody has seen, that you may have heard of, but nobody has seen, and this is 1968's Bullet.
Oh, yeah. There
That
we go.
was almost on
Have
my
to do
list.
it. 1968's Bullet.
If this were best car chase, I might have picked Bullet.
it's for me, it's favorite.
This is overrated car chase. I agree.
Stop. I'm joking.
Streets in San Francisco, a Mustang and a Charger. Come on.
Steve McQueen.
This is great. Yeah, Mustang and Charger. This is over a 10
Set
minute.
the movie scene for people.
This is a 10-minute long scene or chase scene between a cop and a hitman.
Couple of hitmen.
Yes. Synopsis. All guts, no glory. San Francisco cop becomes determined to find the underworld kingpin that killed the witness in his protection. I'll tell you what, you absolutely do not need to watch this movie. The only thing worth watching is this iconic chase between a 1968 Mustang and a 1968 Dodge.
The car chase is worth watching. Definitely.
And what it is, it's a practical chase, right?
That's the big deal.
Before the days of
right?
CGI
Yeah.
and honestly safety.
Well, the other big thing with this is, speed ramping was rampant, right? Watch Batman, 1960s Batman, right? The way that the Batmobile moves, you're like, that's not how that works. You clearly see that it's sped up. Nothing in this scene was sped up, right? What happens is real. These cars are really being driven. There were two Chargers that were used and two Mustangs that were used. One Mustang, they totally beat up and like trashed it afterward, and the other popped up for auction like 3 years ago and went for like, I don't know, $4 million.
Yeah.
Right. These were really used, and in so many of the scenes, Steve McQueen himself is doing a lot of the driving. Anytime you're watching the show and you see the mirror like in the car, on Steve McQueen's face, it's because he's really doing the driving. If you don't see the mirror,
They
then-
let him drive?
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes where they actually have a camera inside the car as they're going down this hill. Because it's one of those things that's realistic. And they're like burning down this road. And you're like, there's no trickery here. They're really driving that fast down this road.
I had no idea.
Absolutely. And then but if you don't see the mirror on his face, it is the stunt driver in that case. But there's an iconic shot of he actually missed a turn at one point, and he has to very quickly slam it in reverse, and he hits the gas and he burns out the tires. And like that was on accident. Literally, they missed the turn while filming, and it's like we're keeping that. It just looks so cool.
It is.
This is again far and away my favorite. I mean, I could have said 1,000 others,
right?
But we got to go with this one. Bullet, 1968, Steve McQueen.
That really did set the tone for like what a car chase should be.
And should be.
Because they've had them since like the silent era. They've had little car chase, but this is the one where it's like that was exciting and fun.
I have 1,000 honorable mentions. Everybody
I'm sure
knows
you do.
We're good.
This could be a full show.
It should be, frankly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do all the car chase show. Remember how I asked the definition of one-on-one?
Uh-oh.
Can I get the definition of a car?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Can it be a car chase if there's not a single car involved?
I'm confused.
What about a motorcycle, a semi-truck, and a motorcycle?
Oh, yeah, that counts.
Because this starts in a mall hallway.
Yeah.
When John Connor is standing in the hallway.
There we go.
And then the
Oh, yeah.
T-800 Terminator starts coming up towards him, and the T-8000 is coming the other way. They start fighting, and then they get out into the road. Well, first of all, John Connor escapes, gets on his dirt bike.
T1000.
What did I say?
T1000.
I said T-1000.
T8000.
Did I say? I said T-800 and T-1000.
T800. Okay.
No,
T1000.
T-800 is the king of Gondor. Stop correcting me.
He's very excited.
But then John Connor gets off and jumps on his dirt bike and starts speeding away from. If you don't know Terminator, there's basically two robots that are fighting him. One is Arnold Schwarzenegger type bulky T-800 robot. The other is the T-1000, a sleek Robert Patrick version. And they said essentially the filmmakers are like, well, we want if T-800 is a tank, we want T-1000 to be a Porsche.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
okay.
Robert Patrick actually learned how to run, like breathing through his nose in like special way, and he got really good when he was training. So actually, when John Connor was driving off on his dirt bike, Robert Patrick could catch up to him, and so they actually had him slow down a bit for that scene. But he gets outside, and then the T-1000 hijacks a semi truck and starts driving it, and they actually added in like lion sound effects to make the truck roar. But then the semi truck is pursuing the little motorcycle. Then Arnold Schwarzenegger gets on a big old motorcycle and follows after him. And he's like cocking a shotgun with one hand by spinning it around and then shooting like fence locks off so he can burst through them. And then John Connor gets down this little canal in L.A., this dry canal. It's actually the Bull Creek Spillway. Mm-hmm. And he's down there. And he's like, oh, I'm safe. And all of a sudden the semi bursts off the top of the road there, off the bridge, and lands right behind him. Then they're chasing each other in that. Arnold Schwarzenegger jumps off and gets down behind him. The whole thing is fantastic. Like, honestly, this is one of those action scenes that I could watch any day of the week, and I absolutely love it. But it doesn't have a single car in it, so
it counts.
Fun fact is they were filming, the way they did it is they actually had Robert Patrick in the car, and he was on the left side of the car. And they had a person in a black hood kind of slunk down on the right side of the car actually driving. And then when they put it in the movie, they reversed it. So there's some scenes where you can see the logo on the truck is reversed because Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't driving. And they weren't originally going to shear off the top of the car when it goes under the overpass, the truck. But then when they realized it was going to be too low, they went, all right, let's just knock off the top.
For the scene.
It's so exciting. Yeah. And it ends in a giant fireball and T-1000 walking out as liquid metal. So, yeah. Man,
cool.
Terminator 2, if I did not say the title yet,
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day came out in 1991, and it is a fantastic action movie, particularly that scene.
I watched this earlier today because that was on my short list.
Yeah?
Very good choice, Joe.
Thank you.
Now we have the most disappointing action scene. Shannon, what disappoints you?
Okay, so this is a different kind of disappointing. This is in Star Wars.
Say no more.
Okay.
I got you. I know where we're going
The
with
Force
this.
Awakens.
Oh, well.
No, see, this is a different kind of disappointment. This is when Kylo Ren kills his dad.
Well.
Spoiler alert for a movie no one cares about.
disappointed.
She didn't say who his dad was.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's all solo now. He
all
killed his
solo.
dad, so he's solo.
So that was not the outcome I wanted. He's not
Wait, did
supposed
you
to
want to
kill.
fight?
I wanted him to
Not die.
not kill
You're
Han
just
Solo.
sad. Wait, so you're just sad about choices?
I am sad that the scene went that way.
You're disappointed in someone's child.
Wait, you're sad
Yes.
that Harrison Ford went, I'll only come back on one condition. If I never have to play
Yes.
this role again.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's a family dispute, so
Yep.
that is a fight scene.
Then
Yeah.
I'll also come
It
back in another one, but
absolutely-
I'm not getting a haircut.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a little unconventional, but that was my disappointing.
I see where you went with that, and now I feel like a jerk.
Uh-oh, what'd you pick?
Oh, I picked a movie and a scene of a movie so disappointing. It was featured on an entire episode of Baconsale, episodes 363, in defense of Indiana Jones, Crystal Skull.
Oh,
Mine is
Jungle Chase?
The Jungle Chase.
The Jungle Chase.
Oh, man. I actually like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull right up until the nonsense that is the Jungle Chase. Everything from there's a machine cutting roads that suddenly disappears, but the roads don't. There's
the Tarzan swinging.
There's ants. There's Shia LaBeouf swinging through the trees. There's
sword fights on top of jeeps.
There's bizarre Russian bobs. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. And I hate this so much.
What would you have preferred?
Anything else? Anything?
Wait,
Something.
cut?
The car goes off of the cliff and gets saved by a tree.
Yeah. No, seriously.
boy.
You compare the CGA laden, action-packed scene that is in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to the Indiana Jones being stuck on the side of a tank in Last Crusade. Last Crusade will win,
awesome.
hands down, every time.
The big fight in front of the plane in Raiders.
Yeah.
It's all of this is so much better.
It's happening.
Those are practical, and they're so much simpler, but they went so over the top with that one.
I hate it so much.
Great choice, Zach.
The chase scene earlier in the movie.
So this is just like
so
least
good.
favorite.
No, that's
But did it like disappointing because it kind of ruined it tainted the movie a little bit?
That is to me the turning point of the movie. Going, this
But
is
did you see like an hour
before?
before when they nuke a fridge?
I mean, you know what? That was like weirdly passable to
Okay.
me. The car chase, which again we talked about this on the Hilly
Yeah.
episode. The car motorcycle chase, outside of the diner, the Back to the
that's
Future
cool.
thing. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. This is the turning point of the movie. Going, this went from I kind of like this. I don't know about this. This movie is irredeemable and I hate it. So it disappointed this whole movie for me.
Okay. My turn? All right, my turn. For most disappointing action scene, I'm going to read a quote, if I may. I don't want to spoil the ending, but I will say that it does change things up from the book in a very big way. The final battle was Peter Jackson Dead Alive style mayhem. I love the carnage and I was sold in the movie in a big way. And that's where I'll leave it because I walked out of the theater feeling that it was the best ending for the movie, but at the same time, the worst ending for a movie. I felt like they made a 10-minute movie for me and then they punched me in the kidneys and took away my happiness. Ooh. I've never booed at a movie before, but I could not resist. And I was not the only one. Half of the crowd, the good guys, were booing, while the other half, cougars, were cheering at the same time. Some heads were almost ripped off, I assure you. Kent Dunn, ShowtimeShowdown.com. Ken, what movie is this?
Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 2. How could you be disappointed in this?
Because
it ends.
Because they set this up, and this is a drastic change from the books, where all of a sudden the bad guys and the good guys have this on the middle of a field in the snow fight. And literal heads are being ripped off. Jaws are being
to give some
pried
context,
open.
not that I've read the books, but I've read the books. They don't have a big battle scene. They just show up at the battle and they kind of talk to each other and they talk it out and there's like a truce essentially.
Yeah.
And so when the movie premiered, everyone was shocked that there was 10 minutes of carnage. It was incredible.
Carnage. Like there's one part when she literally grabs a person's jaw and starts pulling it up, and I'm whoa.
Yeah.
So this crazy fight is happening.
Carlisle gets decapitated?
Yes.
Yep.
Right at the
Shannon,
beginning.
How do you feel about Twilight?
I really liked the books.
Yeah?
The movies were okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate them, but I'm like,
Sure.
So, and if you don't know, by the way, Twilight, let me read the film synopsis of here. For Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. After the birth of Renesmee, the Cullens gather other vampire clans in order to protect the child from a false allegation that puts the family in front of the Volturi. Doesn't matter. They're not really vampires. No one ever bites anyone, I think, in this entire match, except for the werewolves. Mm-hmm. But it is like one of those action scenes. It's like, whoa, they're really going for it on this. The CGI is terrible, by the way. This is 2012, and it has not aged well. But then, after this big, huge battle happens, they go, by the way, that was all a vision and it never happened and we're all fine. And I went, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It is so anticlimactic to be like, that amazing battle happened, but it didn't actually happen. Also, I want to read a quote from Kristen Stewart after her final day filming as Bella.
Okay.
She says, after the final scene she filmed when she was
Can you do
around.
an impression of Kristen Stewart as you do this?
After that scene, my true final scene, I felt like I could shoot up in the night sky and every pore of my body would shoot light. I felt lighter than I've ever felt in my life.
What?
She was not a fan of filming, apparently.
Okay.
But yeah, that was disappointing to me because you can't give me something. It's a terrible movie. Like Breaking Down Part 2 is a terrible movie. Mm-hmm. But you can't give me a scene like that where I'm like, oh, there's something fun. And then be like, no, never mind. It never happened.
It's not as bad as Part 1.
The movie?
Yeah. Put it out there.
The books were just so much better. The whole ending half.
If they actually stayed with the battle, I would have loved that second movie.
I didn't mind the movies.
Oh,
I can't say
Should
that
we revisit this show?
No. We
had a whole
tried to
show
defend
about
them.
that one.
Good try.
Yeah.
My choice is the Star Wars sequel series. That's all.
The entire sequel series.
No, it's not. So J.J. Abrams doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to action. Things can look really flashy, but he sets a lot of things up and they really go nowhere. And this is in Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, which is my choice. Now, when they announced The Force Awakens, they talked about Kylo Ren, so Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, and that there was some sort of upheaval and resistance to the Jedi, and his group was called the Knights of Ren. And then you just didn't hear about them or see them because Rian Johnson kind of screwed everything up. And then they were introduced at the end of Rise of Skywalker, right before we see the final showdown between Palpatine and Rey.
Did you pick the I need a hero moment?
Yes, this is the I need a hero moment.
Oh.
And so you have Kylo Ren versus the Knights of Ren. And it's Kylo Ren who's good now.
I just shrugged.
Yeah.
You can't see this is an audio podcast.
And so there was basically this moment where Ben Solo, who is Kylo Ren, is going to come in and help Rey take down the Emperor because he's back.
Somehow,
that's it.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Somehow Palpatine became the king of
returned.
Gondor.
And so basically, he's about to go in, and the Knights of Ren, by the way, this is a very dark scene. You don't really know what's going on. And they circle him, and he looks at them, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a great fight because these were also like Jedi in training. And then he pulls a lightsaber. He stares at him for about 40 seconds. He pulls a lightsaber from behind his back, and you're like, here we go. Because Adam Driver is actually a fun fighter to watch. Like, I think his Kylo Ren's fighting style is pretty fun. Well, the fight is literally, and I counted this, 13 seconds long. He takes down 6 of these guys immediately, and that is it. And then he goes to help Rey. And I was like, you set up this whole cast of characters, and you just eliminated them to the point where, are they even the Knights of Ren? Do we know that? I don't know. So anyways, hated it. It could have been so cool. And we got a really crappy lightsaber scene.
They don't normally set up characters and then do nothing with them, Captain Phasma.
That was actually an honorable mention. Because what happened there?
I don't know.
Like in every movie.
I don't know.
Anyways. So yeah, Star Wars sequels.
Because setting up characters and not doing anything with them is kind of annoying, Snoke.
Next is most outrageously fun action scene.
Zach, you're up on this one.
I will start. You know what makes action scenes just so darn fun?
Go on.
Leonard Skinner. Like in Kingsman, the Secret Service, a spy organization recruits a promising street kid into the agency's training program while a global threat emerges from a twisted tech genius. And of course, we're talking about the church scene.
It broke my heart not to put that one on here.
So let's paint the picture. So Colin Firth is at church, right? He's there on a mission.
Yes.
And this is not the best sermon that he's attending.
No.
Is this your pick as well?
It is absolutely
Of course
my
it
pick.
is.
This is the most fun action
Essentially,
scene.
what we have is the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. It's, and he's earlier in the movie, he's got a chip or something inserted in his brain, and a signal comes out.
Well, so it goes to cell phones.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it's basically a violence chip. And it makes everyone go nuts and want to kill each other.
Yeah.
And it's actually anyone in the vicinity. And so him even being really controlled, this is Colin Firth, who honestly, I would love to see some Colin Firth James Bond movies once you see this movie. Because it's so cool. But basically, everyone starts fighting. And because he's skilled at fighting...
Yeah, he's like a super spy.
Man, does he take out...
Compared to a bunch of hillbillies.
Most of the congregation.
I hate group being mad, and then he's a highly trained
killer,
assassin,
and so
right?
Zach,
gentleman assassin.
It's so fun, right? Because at first he's just taking him out with his pistol,
sure,
and it's whatever it is, but it's super fun to watch. But then he runs out of bullets, and then he uses everything in his means to take him out, and it's so fun.
It is uber violent. If that's not your thing, it is crazy violent.
One thing I really appreciate about this scene too is it is frenetic. This is a Matthew Vaughn who is like a kind of a discount Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
but this is
Kirkland Brand. Let's say Kirkland Brand.
Yeah, Kirkland Brand.
Still good.
It's a kinetic scene, but it doesn't have a ton of cuts. Right?
No,
it's a little bit of the kind of the shaky cam thing, but you don't ever lose a sense of what's happening in the fight.
You know what is where,
which is it's just brilliant. It's
which knife is in which arm.
Yes, and I think there is that some semblance of satisfaction because you're like, oh, I mean, he's going on a murderous rampage, but like these aren't great people, so
Yeah.
go for it. Like,
And we're talking a knife in the top of the head.
It really is, and it's all like you said. It's all set to Freebird.
set to Freebird.
The
Skinner.
the ending where it all gets really crazy fast, and it's so much fun.
And what's fun is you have a lot of the cast. There's 3 sets of characters watching the mayhem happen.
Yeah.
As we are with our mouths wide open, what is happening right now? It's so freaking fun.
And it ends crazy too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Joel, what do you got?
Now, Kent's going to roll his eyes at me after this because he's totally syncing with Zach. And that was one of my picks, but I ended up going, I wanted to pull it back a bit. One, because I thought someone else might pick that. Thank you for doing that. And 2, because I liked Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, thanks, Kent. There you go. There's the condescension.
This is the race.
No, this is the ending battle where you get basically every
I enjoyed
character
that
you
part.
ever wanted in one battle. So the whole setup for this movie is that there's a virtual reality game that everyone links into and plays. It's in the near future. And there's this corporate bad guy who kind of wants to control it. And so then all the players start fighting against him. But in this virtual reality game, you can be any sort of pop culture character you want. So similar to we talked about recently the fight at end of Cabin in the Woods when it's like all the monsters you know from all the movies all come together fighting. This is
I've seen that movie.
Yeah, this is all the kind of pop culture that you want in one battle.
It's a love letter.
I'm going to run through this as fast as I can. So
One
first of
breath.
all,
Ready?
Oh, how many can I get through one breath? Here we go.
With a Kristen Stewart voice.
No, that's a little too difficult. You get the DeLorean from Back to the Future with a little front on it. It looks like Kit from Knight Rider. You get Battletoads. You get the Iron Giant. You get characters from the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Catwoman, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, Batgirl, Joker, Firefly, Flash, Nightwing. I totally messed up right there. Lara Croft, Street Fighter. There's my breath right there. Strawberry Shortcake, Gremlins, Robin Hood, RoboCop, Sonic the Hedgehog, Legend of Zelda, Chucky, Jason Voorhees. I'm going through all of them.
I mean, everything.
Well, yeah, you have the big battle between Mechagodzilla and Gundam.
Yeah.
It's just and the Iron Giant. It's just so much fun to watch. And just well, I remember seeing this in the theaters. And you have We're Not Gonna Take It playing on a boombox as this is happening by Twisted Sister. And as I was watching this, and I start going, hey, it totally was the fan service to me where I'm like, I know these guys. Holy cow, that's from StarCraft. They put someone from StarCraft. And I love it when intellectual properties play nice together. So seeing something when you have Optimus Prime and the Glaive from Kroll and Samus from Metroid and Darth Maul, you see all these characters pop up, and it's honestly just they're cameos.
Yeah.
There's not like there's any character development here. But I went, this is ridiculous fun to me, where there's no reason for these characters all to be here other than for me to go, oh.
Yeah.
And so I chose Ready Player One from 2018.
All right, great fight.
Shannon.
Legitimately.
So I'm going to go with the ending scene for Free Guy.
Okay. Yeah.
When Guy,
I haven't seen this one.
you what?
I know.
Oh my gosh. So Guy, can I spoil it?
Sure.
Well, I won't spoil. But Guy, like the main guy,
Ryan
ends up fighting himself.
Like an enlarged version
a
of himself.
huge, large.
Is he the
like,
dude?
Bodybuilder. Yeah, it's like. Is that what they called him? The dude?
Or just dude or something
Dude,
like that. Yeah.
dude. Yeah. So it's like this bodybuilder with Ryan's face on. It's so
it's goofy
funny.
looking.
Yeah.
And the fights that they get going. And then once he puts on the glasses so he can like access his video game box. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not a gamer.
No, you're
His
good.
little treasure box of things.
His loot.
And they keeps pulling out all these different, like, I think he had a lightsaber at one point,
Yeah.
and like all these different things. And the fight between them is so outlandish and hilarious, and everyone's just standing around cheering him on. It's so much
It
fun.
is really fun.
Captain America's shield mode is a really fun one.
So much fun. Yeah. So that's mine.
Kent, I'm super surprised you didn't pick the Manson murders and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Or
Oh my gosh, that is
Crazy
so fun.
88
Yeah,
Killed
that
the
sounds so
Volume
weird to
Those
say
are
it that way,
fun.
but it is
but
so
it is
fun.
a fun scene. I was expecting you to go Tarantino here.
Oh,
but
man.
I mean,
Actually-
Crazy Eights. No honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, saving it.
I snuck in honorable mentions. Now we have the most unbelievable action scene. You don't buy that? What are we saying here? Or that's like, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. What did you do, Joel?
I'm glad we have a female in the room.
Okay.
Because, Shannon, I want you to let me know if I'm completely off the mark here. Because I believe that Avengers Endgame is one of the best battle scenes in film history.
They just run at each other.
I
Nothing
believe
really
it is
happens, Joel.
No, I believe it is
So cool when he whispers assemble. It's
I
great.
love
And then
this
Captain
battle
Marvel
scene.
flies through some ships.
Hey,
Nothing
haters,
happens.
shut up. I'm talking to the lady in the room. Because this scene to me, I actually the emotions that are behind it, the actual execution of it, the revelations that come throughout the fight, I absolutely love this battle. And then there's the A-Force. There's a moment in the middle of the battle when Pepper Potts, Valkyrie, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Mantis, Shuri, Okoye, Gamora, Nebula, and Wasp all come together to help protect the Infinity Gauntlet. And I remember being in the theaters. I was absolutely in. Like, I think I was crying at this point because this is after like the big reveal of Mjolnir and all that. That I was like, yes,
it's Elwes.
Yeah, Cary Mjolnir. But then there's this part where all the female warriors somehow found each other on the battlefield. For some reason, decided to all hang out together and then line up for a perfect camera shot. So that Captain Marvel. Who just blasted through a ship, I might add. Because Spider-Man's like, I don't know how you're going to get through all that. And then she's like, well, she's got us.
I'll take her right here, Parker.
Yeah, and I'm like, she literally just went through a ship. She could easily go through a couple people as well.
I'm totally with you. I thought that was the most ridiculous.
Pulled me completely out of the seat. It was one of those moments where I could almost feel it like going like out of the movie and being like, what? Why? And apparently they, in screenings for this test, test audiences said this was pandering. They're like, it's a panderverse.
It's ridiculous.
There's no reason for them to be together. And they're like, well, we'll tweak a little bit to show them kind of fighting together beforehand so it doesn't, it fits better. No, it's absolutely pandering. And it really did pull me out of the movie. And
because you knew it was a studio project at that point.
Yeah. It literally was like, hey, let's get a really cool shot of all the female warriors together. Let's do that. And it doesn't make any sense to the plot. There's no reason why these people would have to find each other.
I agree.
And they really don't do much to further what's going on in that moment. It really is.
Especially since it was right after she just went through that huge ship.
Yeah.
You're like, that was my first thought too, was wait a minute. She just took down an entire spaceship.
Yeah. Apparently the executive producer, Trin Tran, was like, she was the one that was saying that that audiences didn't like it, but they fought to keep it in. And I'm like, it made it completely unbelievable for me, that moment. The rest of the battle, I am absolutely on board with Avengers Endgame final battle, except for that one moment. That is the thorn in the side of that battle.
I agree.
Kent?
Are you mad at me?
No, I'm saying you're next, idiot.
I love you.
I love you too.
All right. So I could go with a number of choices from this particular series.
For your unbelievable action scene.
I know what you're going to do.
You know what I'm going to do? So
nope, just say it.
Okay, I'm just going to paint the picture, everybody.
This is Kent Paints the Picture Done.
I wonder if it's the same one.
It involves cars.
I bet we have the same scene.
Uh-oh.
So, and it's two side characters.
Mater and who else?
We totally have the same
It's Cars 2.
Yeah.
So there's Ludacris.
We have the same scene.
Yes, we do. Hey, can we finger boop right now?
Aw.
Ludacris and
Space.
Tyrese.
They go to space.
And they're just sitting in a Fiero. It's fine. And they're wearing these like cleaner gloves and they're putting duct tape around them, making sure that air won't come out. And they're just kind of telling jokes. Meanwhile, you don't know they're sitting atop a giant airplane that's launching them to 50,000 feet. So then they can use their jet thrusters to take them to space. The Fast and Furious crew goes to space.
Oh my gosh. Seriously.
And look, here's the thing. How did they wait until F9 to get to space? Isn't that ridiculous? Because we could have gone with literally any of the moments from 5 on, I think. Because there's a slingshot moment from F9 as well that is just absolutely
I
ridiculous.
still haven't seen F9.
You shouldn't.
Oh, it's so funny.
It is so funny and so dumb. But basically what it is, and sorry, Shannon, you can jump in.
Go ahead.
But basically, this Fiero is just locked down that it is a space vessel. They're trying to put a microchip in a satellite and fly to that in a Fiero for some reason. And they're wearing like scuba diver masks as well.
It was like duct tape to their shirts or something.
Yeah.
Like it was so ridiculous.
But then they're like, oh, the car won't work well enough. How do we get there? And they're like shifting the car. And I'm like, they're in space. And they just decide to drive through the satellite and explode it. And then you think there will be some like dramatic tension, like won't the car explode as well? Because these are billion-dollar satellites they're driving through. It's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens.
Except for they went to space.
They went to space!
They went to space. But they did pause for a minute to be like, oh, look how beautiful it is. Look, we're in space.
I don't need to see Tyrese
oh my gosh.
looking at the circumference of the globe.
That was so ridiculous.
He was a flat earther before, so it was good for him.
Okay, that's true.
Oh, so funny.
I'm just mad it hasn't gone bigger than that since. I'm so glad you have that choice as well.
Yeah, that's what I had. Yep.
All right, Zach, what do you have?
Again, so many options.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stay to the same franchise. However, I did a different idea.
Okay.
I went with unbelievable but awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
And mine is from Fast Five.
Okay. With the
Give
safe?
me those 2 Chargers pulling a vault.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
It's so dumb.
It is
They have a
insane.
safe, Zach.
Safe.
It's
It is
so dumb.
It is so dumb, but I love it.
That is the movie that changed the franchise.
Yes, but I think for the better.
They made it. They were more self-aware, more fun.
I really hate the first 2 Fast and Furious movies. I never even saw the third. But then, yeah, when it turns this corner in Fast 5, it's just ridiculous
So much
fun,
fun.
right? You guys are sitting here going, oh my gosh, this thing in F9 was so dumb, but you're smiling and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
laughing and
Oh,
we're all
yeah.
having a good time.
True story.
That's how all of them are.
But then so you have the stolen vault, and for context here, you've got 2 heavily modified Dodge Chargers that strap themselves to a bank vault and rip it out of the building.
Wait,
and they just
5 tons. It's a 5
5
ton bank.
tons.
It's a big vault.
They're pulling it, and they literally just strap to the 2 cars. Each one has a line to it, and they just have this huge chase, destroying everything through the city.
They had a chase, Zach.
A chase. It's a vault.
A safe chase.
In a cave with scraps.
We've jumped genres.
Oh no! But this is unbelievable. That's not how that would work, and yet it is so dang fun.
It is.
I love it.
Yes.
Little positive spin there. I like that, Zach.
Yes. All right. Finally, our favorite overall action scene. What is your favorite overall action scene? We'll start with let's just start with our guest, Shannon. Start
Oh,
with you.
I get to go first.
Yes.
Okay, so mine is from True Lies.
Oh,
nice.
Great
That
choice.
is, oh my gosh, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
I've probably seen it 500 times. So that scene when they are leaving the island. Okay, so Jamie Lee Curtis is in the limousine getting taken away. She's been captured. And Arnold is in a helicopter. So there's 3 or 4 limousines and some big tank trucks got the nuke in one of them. And so they're crossing the big bridge coming into Miami. So they're going to set off this nuke. And so Arnold's coming in and he shoots a hole in the bridge. So now all these cars are tumbling into the water, except for, of course, the one with the nuke
Is this
got
True Lies or
away.
is this Mission Impossible?
Yeah, right? He went rogue.
Right. So the whole scene of them shooting and then him trying to rescue Jamie Lee Curtis, because of course she gets in a fight inside the limo and there's no driver, and so now the limo is rogue, and so Arnold has to get the helicopter close enough to her that he can reach her and she can come up through the skylight in the car right as it tumbles over the edge. And then the whole way through they have to get the helicopter clear to Miami and land, and then the nuke goes off. It's just a fun scene.
It is. Yeah, it
It's
is.
just a fun movie.
It absolutely is.
Oh, what a good choice.
That's
I
one
don't
of those
think about
action
True
movies-
Lies enough. I need to watch that one
That's
again.
one of those movies that I was made a big splash when it was there, and I think people need to watch it again because it's a lot of fun.
Well, we showed it to my daughter and her new husband, and none of my kids have seen it because
Yeah.
we used to watch it a ton back in the day.
Sure.
And so we tried to find it everywhere and could not find it anywhere. And so we actually went and found like our own DVD or something in our closet. But now we just recently saw it. I think it's on Netflix or something, or Hulu, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's on. So now maybe more people can watch it because
Shannon, there's this
available.
place. It's called Walmart, and it's now a $7.50 bin.
Oh,
There's
right.
a place where you can go and rent things for free. Actually, your tax dollars have already paid for it.
The local library.
Joel
Oh,
goes
the
there.
library.
I get a lot of stuff from the library.
Well, we're very impulsive. We're like, we want to watch
We
it
need
right
to watch
now.
it now.
I get it.
We want to watch it now.
Rest in peace, Blockbuster.
Right. I know, right?
All right, Zach, what's your final pick? What is your favorite overall action scene?
My favorite overall action scene comes from an action franchise that I have not talked enough about on this list because
James
I only
Bond?
wanted to pick one from this franchise. And it's not James Bond. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, James.
00 no.
This is a fight choreographed by the great Bob Anderson, discussed earlier when we talked about The Princess Bride.
Yes.
He is a wonderful fight choreographer, a former Olympic fencer, worked on such films as Highlander, The Three Musketeers, The Princess Bride, Mask of Zorro, Lord of the Rings, and even Die Another Day, the scene between Pierce Brosnan and Madonna. He worked on that. But he also worked on a little film called The Empire Strikes Back, because my favorite action scene of all time is Luke versus Vader in Empire Strikes Back.
Very cool.
That's a good one.
Love this fight. Now there's a theme. Think about the fight between Inigo Montoya and the Man in Black. Think about the fight at the end of Empire Strikes Back. Bob Anderson does this thing, and it's I don't know what you want to call it, the test, sizing up, whatever, where we're standing in front of each other and we have a few hits. They're kind of testing each other, right? You build this tension. You have a beautiful shot. The silhouette of Luke and Vader. You have the lightsabers, the kind of the smoke around everything from the carbonite chamber, and it's just an epic setting. But you have the added tension of Luke has had these visions that his friends are being tortured, that they're going to be killed, and Vader knows something that he doesn't know. Right. So Luke is ready to give his all, even though he's not a fully trained Jedi. He's ready to give his all. And Darth Vader is like, I need you for several reasons.
Yeah.
I want you to join me. And so I'm going to toy around with you a little bit. So you get a fantastic fight scene. You get the moment in the hallway where Vader just bursts out from the side. Kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You get things being thrown around. You get the kid being thrown out of a window.
Yep.
And you get, of course, the iconic...
The hand getting chopped off, which as a kid was like, wait, that doesn't happen to good guys.
This fight keeps happening and happening and happening, and Vader is just like, okay, hey, I want this to be done. Like when you're with your kids and you're like, okay, we're done now.
I'm chopping off your
going
hand.
to exert.
You cut your kids' hands off?
I'm going to exert a little bit of
Your
force
kids
now.
have.
He has one. Do you need more?
Are
than
you
that?
saying that chopping off a hand at Star Wars is the equivalent of spanking in real life?
Yes.
Okay,
That's true. Yes, it is.
No.
I think just overall this fight, because of the weight of it. Now, is it the flashiest fight in Star Wars? Not even remotely, but it carries a lot of weight, and it is just a brilliantly interesting thing to watch. All around, great fight. Luke versus Vader, my favorite of all time. Joel?
Do you know how hard it is to pick a favorite overall?
I have
No,
two that are
impossible.
literally tied right now.
I didn't pick one because I thought it was going to be picked by you.
No, you pick it.
Well, no, I'm
Because
not.
I have it as my backup.
I'm not having that as my backup because I think what makes a great action sequence is the thing where you hold your breath because you have no idea what's going to happen and you're so tense. And I think a good action sequence requires maybe some animatronics, maybe some CGI, maybe some kids in danger in a Jeep, because I chose Jurassic Park, the T-Rex.
nice.
Good one.
So you have the water rippling in the cup that kind of builds the tension of something big's coming. Then the leg drops, or the shoe drops, I should say. But the T-Rex gets out. It's just one of those moments where you're just so tense, like the characters, and then mayhem starts happening because they destroy the car, kill the lawyer, and it starts attacking the kids. They get away, start climbing down a wall, and a truck almost falls on top of them. Then they have to climb up a tree again to get the kid out of the car, and the car starts almost falling on top of it again. And honestly, any scene in Jurassic Park could probably count. The raptors at the end, but I wanted to focus on the T-Rex one because that was one of those moments I vividly remember in the theater holding my breath because I was so tense about what was going on. And this T-Rex was an impressive feat. Like, it is 20 feet high, the animatronic, 20 feet high, 40 feet long, and weighed 17,500 pounds. It was the largest sculpture ever made by the Stan Winston studio. Stan Winston is a fantastic effects guy, model designer. But like they had this real T-Rex head that they would bring in, well, that body, top of the body, that they could bring in for some shots. And it is amazing to watch because it feels so realistic. So yes, Jurassic Park, maybe more of an adventure movie, but it was one of my scenes that I had to pick, and I wanted to put it somewhere, and I went, it's got to go favorite.
It's
overall.
so great.
So cool.
There's so many other good action scenes out there. I could have picked those. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I chose this one.
So you had animatronics, Jeeps, and kids in danger.
And CGI.
And CGI. I have shrapnel, security guards, and cartwheels. I'm going with the lobby scene from The Matrix.
There it is. I didn't pick it because
I literally have
that.
two. I have one that is literally tied that is from a current movie, but I'm going to save it for another show because the lobby scene in the Morpheus rescue from the first Matrix.
I was going to put just the entirety of the Morpheus rescue.
Because what happens is the scene starts out and Agent Smith is questioning Morpheus. And Morpheus taught Neo everything he knows. And so for him to be in trouble and, about to ruin everything for everyone else, you're like, go in there and save them.
Yeah.
And then you have Neo and Trinity just calmly walking into the lobby. Security guards go like, can we check your bag? Full of guns, by the way. And then all of a sudden, the score by Don Davis just starts up. And it is the coolest thing.
Spy
Granted,
break.
Is this a little dated? Absolutely. Are the cartwheels a little goofy?
A little ridiculous, but it's so fun.
But it is back in the day when DVDs were the Blu-rays of their time or the HD of their time, and you see just the shrapnel of these pillars, just
pillars bursting with
burst off, and it was the coolest, the best practical effects I've seen to that point.
Yeah,
because it was all just happening, and the confidence of these two heroes going in there and just taking out this entire room. It's such a blast.
And then you get up on the roof with the bullet time too, and that's
that's really it. Yeah.
From that moment of walking into the lobby, to jumping out to the helicopter,
which then leads into the subway fight, which Shannon mentioned. Yeah. It's just this entire movie is a masterpiece.
It's a great
movie.
Like
Kent said, I tried my best not to pick. We tried to make Matrix every answer, and I didn't put Matrix for any because I conceded that you were going to get some of those. So
I want to give my honorable mention, but I'll save it.
There's so many honorable mentions we want to have.
I can't believe we haven't mentioned another Keanu Reeves movie.
I almost did.
I almost did too. Okay.
I'm taking it back.
Nope. That's me putting out the wick on this, guys.
What do you guys say?
Well played. You got his name right. I'm proud of you.
But there you have it. There are our action scenes that we love and adore and sometimes get annoyed by. But we hoped you played along at home and let us know on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter what your answers were. Because like we said, there's so many that we wanted to talk about, but it's just we're saving for maybe
plenty more
possible
to do.
Future episode. So thank you, Shannon, for bringing this
Shannon
here.
came up with these categories, by the way.
She did.
Yes, I
thank
did.
you very much.
It was great. And
I stressed about it for days.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
playing.
It's that fun kind of stress, though, right? But Shannon, is there anyone here at the end of the show you'd like to give a shout out to, or anything you'd like to plug?
I'll just shout out to my family, my awesome husband who was going to come, didn't make it, and my kids and my friends. And thanks, you guys, for letting me be here. This is fun.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Here. That was
so
great.
much fun.
Yes, and thank you for your support of Baconsale as well. We really do appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, before we go, we'd like to thank some patrons. So from the I Am the Listener category, we have Taylor Sanderson, Sir and Madam Hicks, Shannon West,
Hey!
Ryan and Marley, Rocky and Steph, Lady Terry A. Finley, Juice the Cooler King Swallow, Jennifer Kilkowski. It's Pizza Friday time, Scott Sprague. Dave
Wait,
Kelly,
he's in here?
Casey Cummings, Briggs is off to preach a good word, Angela Plotz, Andrew is literally Ryan Gosling, and Adam and Rachel Crump. And from the Bacon Council, we have the one, the only Chris Anderson, Steven, everyone's favorite Ross, Star Wars expert Kyler, our favorite couple, the Madsons, Nicole DeKale, the other Brit, Johnny English, Her Royal Highness, Jessica Terry, Glow Clan Daniel, Debbie Foster, and Beaker.
Thank you, patrons. You are the princess to our bride.
Oh, I like that one.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform at the Midvale Performing Arts Center, including this Friday, if you're listening when this show airs, November 17th, when we're going to be having Baconsale night at Quickwits. Buy one, get one free for Baconsale listener. For more information, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Kenny3DD. You can read my movie reviews at ShowtimeShowdown.com.
If you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Tumbling Mustard. But more importantly, make sure you're following Baconsale. Please like that Facebook page and go to at Baconsale on Twitter and Instagram. Well, after you've done that, go to tpublic.com/Baconsale, where you can get yourself some merch. We love to see it. And then if you like what's going on here and you want to support us further, visit patreon.com/Baconsale, where support starts at just $3 a month. You can get all sorts of fun behind the scenes content, and you can help decide what we should be watching. Patreon.com/Baconsale.
So until next time, we came here to podcast and chew bubblegum, and we're all out of bubblegum. Dessert for somebody? That's cute.
Get in a show some point.
I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm thinking of good citations.
This is when this is what we cut out that show, by the way, Shannon.
Every week I go to the country and meet a guy that sweeps me off my feet, and I never want to go back to the big city.
No, don't send me to Les Mis.
Why not?
Romance.
I saw it in New York and fell asleep. Oh my God.
Cary Elwes? Cary Elwes?
How you doing? Are you all right? Are you okay? Just sit back. Are you all right? Are you sure? Because you just went through a wall.
Went through a wall.
We are dorks.
Yes.
We are Utah
Shannon.
dorks.
Cary
Shannon, he loves synopses.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Cary Elwes.
Cary
We call it snidering. I went in space, Kent. Space. Space. Space.
I'm a huge Elastigirl stan. Okay.
Well, like, thank you, internet and Tumblr.
Give me thick thighs and pretty eyes. Thank you. Scar, brother. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows.
No,
One
2800 is the king of Gondor.
There's bizarre Russian bobs. Dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria. Somehow Palpatine became the king of Gondor. Holy cow, that's from StarCraft. They put someone from StarCraft.
So are you mad at me?
No, I'm saying you're next, idiot.
They went to space.
They have a safe, Zach. Safe.
Safe. They had a chase, Zach. A chase.
Chase.
It's a vault. A safe chase. In a cave with scraps.
Shannon, can I hear your impression of Keanu Reeves, please?
No, you may not.